Hello, sports fans. It is Thursday, January the 17th, the year 2013. And as usual, a lot to get to in the sports world, so let's get it going right now. Before we get to our big championship game day picks, let's go through some scores from last night. First up in college basketball last night, the Maryland Terrapins had a big win over North Carolina State. Nice win by Maryland. They got a last-second bucket to put them up by one. They hold on to win. Nice win by Maryland. If you remember, NC State just beat number one Duke over the weekend, so nice job by Maryland last night. Good ACC game. UNLV went into San Diego State and beat San Diego State. Not an easy thing to do. The San Diego State crowd was amazing last night, but UNLV goes in there and gets the job done. Michigan State beats Penn State at Penn State, and New Mexico beats Boise State at Boise. Nice job by New Mexico. As far as the NBA, the Atlanta Hawks, they blow out Brooklyn in Atlanta. Atlanta bounces back from that pitiful performance they had the other night where they only scored like 57 points. They had 5 points in the second quarter of that game the other night. They bounced back in a big way last night. They bombed Brooklyn. Brooklyn was due for a bad game. They've been so hot for so long now, so nice job by the Hawks there. Oklahoma City at home, no surprise, beats Denver. Denver's great at home, not good on the road. Dallas starting to play a little better. They beat Houston at home. San Antonio drubs Memphis in San Antonio. Memphis has dropped a few games in a row. They may need a change, Memphis. They have a good team, but can they get to the upper echelon? Look for Memphis to make a trade. And Miami goes into Golden State and just plasters Golden State last night. Beats them by 17 points. When Miami brings their A-game, they can beat anyone. They're the best team when they bring their A-game, and they just demolished a good Golden State team in Golden State, and that is a very hard place to play. So nice job by the Heat. The Heat at the Lakers tonight. Very interesting game. All right, without further ado, let's get to our NFL championship games. Here we go. First up, let's go to Atlanta. The early game on Sunday, 3 o'clock Eastern Time. The San Francisco 49ers are minus 3.5 over the Atlanta Falcons in the Georgia Dome. To me, I like San Francisco in this game because Kaepernick last week made me a believer. He throws the big interception at the beginning of the game. Green Bay runs it back, and from that point on, Kaepernick was amazing. Great throwing, great running. I loved everything I saw from him last week. They blew out Green Bay last week. I like Kaepernick. I like the defense. I like the running game with Gore. Crabtree has become a really good receiver. I like the coach. I like San Francisco's special teams. Atlanta, Abraham will play. I did not like what I saw from Atlanta last week when they just coughed up a 27-7 lead in their building in basically a quarter and let Seattle come down the field like 3 times in a row and score. Atlanta was very fortunate to get bailed out of that game. Matt Ryan bailed them out. In order for Atlanta to win this game, Matt Ryan's going to have to be huge. Julio Jones and Roddy White, the receivers, are going to have to be huge along with Gonzalez. I think San Francisco is too good for Atlanta. I think San Francisco is better than Atlanta. I think across the board, when you look top to bottom, I think San Francisco has the better personnel here. I was very impressed with San Francisco. Atlanta didn't like the way they let Seattle back in the game last week. I don't like this injury situation with Abraham. He is going to play, but how healthy is he going to be? He's a big part of their defense. He's their major pass rusher. I like San Francisco to get the job done here. Minus 3.5 over Atlanta. I am taking the Niners to get to the Super Bowl. This is where they fell short last year. They lost to the Giants in the same exact spot last year. I think they get the job done this week. I think San Francisco beats Atlanta in the Georgia Dome. Let's go to the late game on Sunday, the 6:30 game Eastern Time on Sunday night. The Baltimore Ravens at the New England Patriots. New England, a 9.5-point favorite. New England's home. Their offense is awesome. Their defense is not great, but it is a little better. You got Ninkovic on the outside. You got Mayo. You got Wilfork clogging up the middle. You got Talib in the secondary, who's a really good player. Gronkowski is out, but we know New England just keeps plugging in new guys to fill his spot. You still got Welker. You still have Hernandez. You have Ridley at running back. New England offense seems to score at will. We know their offense is great. We know Brady's great. We know Belichick is great. They're home. We know all that. On the Ravens side, to me, they're not a great road team. They pulled one out of the miracle hat last week against Denver. They did hang in the game. I give them credit for that. I do give Baltimore a better shot this week than I did last week. I didn't think they had any shot at beating Denver. They should have lost. They pulled it out. I do give Baltimore a shot in this game. This is a game that these two teams have played a bunch of times in the last few years. Most of the games are close. Baltimore beat New England in a close game this year in Baltimore. Last year in the playoffs, New England escaped. Baltimore could have easily won that game. I don't love Baltimore's defense. They're more of an offensive team now. Webb in the secondary is out. Is this Ray Lewis's destiny to get to the Super Bowl? Is there some magic carpet ride he's on? I mean, I think Baltimore's going to score. I think Flacco will play well. I think the receivers, Smith and Bolden and, Ray Rice in the backfield are going to get their yardage. I think they're going to get their points. I just think New England's offense is a little too much at home here. I think New England is going to squeak out this game. I do think it's going to be closer than most people think. Most people think New England's going to win this game in a rout. I think the spread's too high. These teams play close games. I'm going to take Baltimore with the points, but I'm going to say New England ekes it out by like 3 points. I say it's a field goal game either way. I say New England wins by 3. I do like Baltimore with the points. I think the spread is way too high. These two teams have played a lot of battles the last few years. Just about all of them are close. The game this year in Baltimore was close when Baltimore came back and won. The game last year in the playoffs was very close. New England was lucky to escape when Baltimore kind of dropped that pass in the end zone with time running out. I think this game will be close. I do give Baltimore a chance. I don't love New England's defense, but I think at the end of the day, Tom Brady and Bill Belichick being at home, I think that'll be enough to get them through this game. Close, but New England wins the game. I think we're going to have a San Francisco, New England Super Bowl in a couple weeks, which is a really good Super Bowl if we get it. So that's where we are as far as your NFL picks. A couple news and notes. Chip Kelly leaves Oregon and he goes to the Eagles. I mean, you can't trust these college coaches. Just last week, Chip Kelly said he was staying in Oregon, didn't want to leave college, and wasn't coaching in the NFL. What happens? Here he is, the Eagles coach, leaves Oregon high and dry. I hate when these coaches do this. I hated when Saban left LSU to take the Dolphin job. Then he ends up, backstabbing Don Shula and goes back to college to coach Alabama. I wish Chip Kelly would have stayed at Oregon. I thought he had a niche there. I thought Oregon was building a great program. He still had unfinished business there. They were in the hunt for a national title. He still hasn't gotten that title. I mean, to me, that was the perfect spot for him. Okay, he wants to coach in the NFL, but why say last week you were coming back to Oregon and leave that school that was so good to you high and dry now? I mean, I give the Notre Dame coach credit. He said he was staying at Notre Dame. He's staying at Notre Dame. Chip Kelly, don't like the way he handled this, but he will be the Eagle coach. We'll see if he can run his offense in the NFL. His offense in college was great. Can it move over to the NFL? And how's their defense going to be? Because Chip Kelly wasn't a good defensive coach. I mean, Oregon scored a lot of points, but they gave up a lot of points. So we'll see how he is on that side of the ball as well. So that is the story with Chip Kelly. As far as a couple other news and notes, this whole Manti Te'o story is just downright bizarre. The Notre Dame Heisman candidate that finished, runner-up in the Heisman this year has this bizarre story where he had this girlfriend and supposedly she died of leukemia in September. Now, last night we find out the girlfriend never existed. He says it was a hoax. Some other people are saying he's in on it for publicity. I mean, what kind of story is this? We got to wait for all the facts to come out in this story. Just a bizarre story. I mean, how much time do people have on their hands to create these things? I mean, so you create a character that he thinks is like a girlfriend of his, and you fake her death, and there's actually a place to send flowers to, and now people are saying he was in on it. He denies that. I mean, I would be really disappointed if Manti Te'o was involved in this in any way, if he did this for publicity. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and say he was duped here. But, I mean, what about these people that pulled off this stunt? I mean, what's the story? Do you have that much time on your hands? I mean, to create a whole person and to create their death? I mean, and what's the story with Manti Te'o? He never went to this girl's funeral. This was supposedly his girlfriend. He never went to the funeral. Did he meet her? Who did he meet? And this was an online relationship? I mean, he said he talked to her online over the phone. Did he actually ever meet her face-to-face, or did he meet someone he thought was her? And what about the whole funeral? I mean, did he go to the funeral? I mean, what was the story there? The story is downright bizarre. We got to wait for that whole story to come out and get more facts and figures. I would be disappointed if Te'o was involved and he did it for publicity. If he's not involved, then he really got duped, and that is really a shame because he seems like a good kid. As far as the other story, Lance Armstrong, I cannot talk anymore about steroids or performance-enhancing drugs. I mean, now Lance Armstrong, years after he's retired, years after he's denied everything, is going to go on a taped interview with Oprah on Monday and admit he did stuff to Oprah, who's also retired, by the way. And then we're going to run this special, a two-night special with Lance Armstrong. Is anyone surprised? Did anyone think Lance Armstrong didn't do something? Everybody in the cycling world is doing something. I mean, that whole sport is rampant use of performance-enhancing drugs. Every top guy in cycling has been linked to something. And now, years later, Lance Armstrong is going to pull this? I mean, Lance Armstrong, what are you doing? Terrible job by you. And now dragging Oprah into this. Oprah's been retired for how many years herself? And we got here Armstrong bowling to Oprah. Terrible job all the way around. I'm not watching a second of that interview. What are they going to tell me? Something I already knew? Lance Armstrong was doing performance-enhancing drugs? I mean, I knew this 10 years ago. Everyone knew it. I mean, what a joke that is. So those are two bizarre stories right there. As far as what to watch over the weekend, since this will be my last show for the week, as far as your NBA, today, believe it or not, the Knicks have a game in Detroit. The Knicks are playing the Detroit Pistons in London, 3 o'clock Eastern Time. Why are the Knicks in Detroit playing a regular season game in the middle of the week in London? Can you explain to me what the NBA is doing? Why does the NBA need to put a regular season game in London and the Knicks in Detroit in the middle of the day here, 3 o'clock Eastern Time? You're going to have a Knick game? I mean, who is the NBA catering to? I mean, why are we over there in London playing a regular season basketball game? For what reason? And then you put the Pistons over there, a bad team? It's totally mindless, but anyway, that's a Thursday game today. Clippers at Minnesota tonight, interesting game. Miami at the Lakers, very interesting game. As far as Friday, you have Chicago and Boston, Houston, Indiana, Atlanta at Brooklyn, Golden State at San Antonio, Oklahoma City and Dallas. Saturday, you got San Antonio, Atlanta, Memphis at Chicago, Sunday, Oklahoma City at Denver. As far as your college basketball, tonight you have Georgia Tech at Duke. Look for Duke to plow over Georgia Tech after they lost last week. Michigan at Minnesota, very nice Big Ten game in the barn in Minnesota. Very nice stadium there. Florida is at Texas A&M. Friday, not much going on. I'll tell you, if you ever want to watch some good college basketball, Saturday afternoon is your day. Syracuse at #1 Louisville, great game. Kansas at Texas. Arizona at Arizona State, big rivalry game there. Gonzaga at Butler, tremendous game. Missouri, Florida, good game. Ohio State, Michigan State, excellent Big Ten game. Creighton at Wichita State, good game. San Diego State at Wyoming. Wyoming's only lost one game. Oklahoma at Kansas State in the Octagon at Dune, very nice game there. You got Oregon at UCLA, and you got Marquette at Cincinnati. There are a plethora of big games on Saturday afternoon in college basketball. Definitely check out some of these games. Syracuse, Louisville, that's a must-watch. Gonzaga, Butler, fabulous game there as well. Sunday, not much going on. Indiana at Northwestern. So that's some of the games to keep an eye on over the weekend. While I'm not with you, some of the NBA, some of the college basketball. Real quickly, I wanted to, while I had some time, go through some movies. We got the Oscars coming up. A few movies I have to get to that look pretty good. Argo with Ben Affleck. That looks like a really good movie. Ben Affleck won the Golden Globe Award for that movie. That looks like a really nice movie. I want to check that out. Lincoln with Daniel Day-Lewis looks good. Silver Linings Playbook is getting a lot of play. Everyone in that movie is up for an award. I mean, I at first didn't have any interest in seeing it, but every single person in that movie is up for an award, so I got to check that out. The Master with Phoenix and Seymour Hoffman, you got to check that out. Joaquin Phoenix is great and everything. Zero Dark 30 looks like a good movie, and Flight with Denzel Washington I got to check out. So those are some movies I have to see. So movies I have recently seen, I'll give you a little review on them. I saw The Dark Knight Rises. That's the latest of the Bale Batman. Supposedly that will be the last one Bale plays. I liked the movie. I gave it out of 0 to 4 stars. I gave it 3 stars. I like Bale as Batman. I liked the villain in the movie. I thought there was a plot. There was a lot of action. Anne Hathaway was good as Catwoman. I liked this Batman. I would give it 3 out of 4 stars. I also saw the latest Spider-Man. I went in thinking not so good with this Spider-Man. I thought it was going to be like a 1-star movie. It wasn't bad. I would give it 2.5. Wasn't as good as Batman, but I still thought it was worth watching. As far as Taken 2, I'm going to watch that over the weekend. Haven't got to it yet. A couple of older movies I want to touch on. I watched Gremlins. You know, when I was a kid, I liked Gremlins. I thought Gremlins was a good movie. To me, it doesn't stand the test of time as you get older, though. I think for a kid, it's a 3-star movie out of 4. As an adult watching it now, it's taken a step back, and I would give it no more than 2 stars. I mean, the creatures are good, and Spielberg does a good job with all that kind of stuff. But to me, it's more kid-orientated. I would give it 2 out of 4 stars. A little step back as you get older for Gremlins. But kids would enjoy it. And as far as a movie that I really enjoyed, an older movie, you have to check out this movie if you haven't seen it. The Talented Mr. Ripley. That's with Matt Damon, Jude Law, who's a really good actor, and Gwyneth Paltrow, who's a fabulous actress. I would give that one 3 stars as well. I thought that was a really good movie. Great cast. Seymour Hoffman is in that as well. Philip Seymour Hoffman. I love him as an actor. So The Talented Mr. Ripley, if you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. And like I said, try and check out some of these movies. A lot of these movies are up for the Oscars. And the Oscars are coming up soon, so you want to get a feel for these movies before the Oscars gets here. One other note, the NHL starts Saturday. I mean, I'm still annoyed by the NHL, and I'll keep an eye on it. It's going to take me a little while to get back into the swing of things with the NHL, because I still am a little upset with them for missing half the season. But it does start on Saturday. We know who your contenders are going to be. You're going to have your Rangers and your Penguins and your Canucks and your Kings. You know, your Capitals, are they ever going to get it done? We kind of know who the big teams are. We'll see if there's any surprises. NHL does kick off on Saturday. You might want to keep an eye on that. I love hockey, but I am a little annoyed with them. It's going to take me a little while to get involved in the hockey season, but you want to keep an eye on that as well. So a big weekend as far as sports goes. I mean, you have your NFL, playoffs on Sunday. You got hockey starting on Saturday. Great college basketball over the weekend, especially on Saturday. You got your NBA as always. I gave you some movies to check out. Should be a busy weekend. You guys stay safe. By the way, Monday is Martin Luther King Day, so I don't know if you guys have off. If you do, enjoy the day off. I will be back with you Monday. I will do a show on Monday. You guys stay safe. Enjoy the day. Thanks for tuning in. Enjoy all the sports over the weekend. We'll talk about it all on Monday. Talk to you then. Take care.